Hello and welcome into the Dreamsphere. I'm your storyteller, Emily Goodwin, and today we have a guest with us, Sam. Let's get
Hi.
this Hi. Let's get this shazazzle started and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sam, and I cook for sick people for a living so that they can live healthier lives and get off of their medication. And other than working in the kitchen, I just enjoy spending as much quality time as I can with my family and doing anything related to creative writing, dance, art, or just making up good times and good memories.
Wow. That sounds amazing. And you're in Hawaii.
I am. So a
Wow.
large part of my job is just driving around the island, delivering food to people, and basking in the fact that I'm lucky enough to live in Hawaii.
Wow, that must be so nice. The sun's shining all the time.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So when did your dream life start? Tell me a little bit about that.
While I was in elementary school, I remember being as young as in the second grade and wanting to walk to school. And my mom let me do it, but I remember very specifically the types of things that I would try to imagine as I would walk to school, like staring down at the curb and imagining snakes walking to or slithering their way to school with me. Or if I saw that someone had one of those window covers that keep the heat out of your car and it was two wolves there, I'd imagine the wolves jumping out of the window and following me along to school, or being on the playground and climbing to the highest part of it and imagining a giraffe or an elephant coming to say hello to me. And one time I had had this nightmare that I was in a treehouse and someone had pulled a gun on me. And I had to jump out of the treehouse. But before I did, I shouted to an imaginary bird friend that I'd made, an eagle friend that I'd made in real life with my imagination. And I'd spread my arms while I called on this eagle friend in my dream, and I flew down like my arms were not just my arms, but were actual wings, capturing much more air than I could see their range covering, so that I could safely glide down to the ground. And that was my first lucid dream, I guess, because I wouldn't jump out of a treehouse depending on some strange power. I felt like even though I wasn't aware, even though I didn't have that moment in the dream where I was like, I'm dreaming, I'll be okay. I did have a certain awareness that a belief in this friend that I made would bestow his power upon me and I would be able to make it to safety.
Wow. That's a very intense kind of first realization about lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what's your belief around dreams? Like, for example, do you some people believe that it's God or angels talking to you through your dreams, or more of a scientific perspective where it's things that you've seen throughout the day and then you're processing it, or it could be your own bright imagination. What kind of things do you believe about dreams?
I think that the scientific perspective of throughout the day, your brain is constantly processing information, and that information is re lit up as far as like the neurons that are lit up when you process certain things are the same ones that are lit up when you see them in your dreams. So when you go to bed, I've just read a lot about how your brain still has to be active in some way, so it's recycling all that information. And that makes a lot of sense to me, but I also believe it does have a lot to do with your subconscious, and that if you do pay attention to your dreams, that you can learn about yourself, because it does have a lot to do with the random things in the day, but also your personality and your perspective.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I feel like there's a lot of things that we could learn about ourselves if we paid attention to our dreams. And they're kind of like a way that we can connect to our inner self, even if we, like, don't really want to see things about ourselves. They kind of tell us, like,
I
hey,
agree.
yeah, they're like, hey, maybe you should concentrate on this a little bit because you're kind of going off your path or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, totally. So, what what kind of dream experiences have you had? Tell me a couple of dreams that you've had.
I first, when I became when I started to become more and more lucid, went through a transition where I had to learn how to fly. And it went from the bird arm wings, like I told you, to imagining fairy wings or butterfly wings on my back, to learning how to levitate and pick myself up with my mind. And now I can fly around like Superman, almost effortlessly with barely clenching my thoughts. I've learned how to get very good at zero gravity and levitation.
Wow.
And I've also become increasingly better at making things appear. And this has come from the first time I tried to do it, I was in my elementary school in my dream, but much older than elementary. And I was there, and I realized that I was lucid and I can do whatever I want. But I really just wanted to get a reaction from my friends. And I thought about holding my hands together and cupping them together. And I thought about a lizard, and I was trying to imagine all the blueprints to this lizard, from its DNA, its structure, everything, every detail, the color of it, so I could make it appear. And I opened my hands, and there's this origami paper lizard. It's a lizard, but it's out of origami paper. And I remember waking up going, "That's not what I wanted." No, I thought I had it, and I started developing being able to make things come from my hands, like butterflies
Ooh.
or flowers, and small things like fish in the water, just by closing and opening them, or creating some sort of transition where I can't make something appear just by looking at it, but if I create some sort of transition, then it's
Mm,
much easier to make something appear like that.
that's
Like
interesting.
that.
That's so cool.
And
I love how you say that you have to, you're like learning, teaching yourself how to fly or teaching yourself like how to create things.
it was definitely a process, and I've taught myself how to do a lot of things. One time I was lucid dreaming, and I was at a park that I know, and I was looking at a tree, and I thought that I could just swipe my hand through it very easily, like smooth through it. I went to do it, and only the tips of my fingers would move through the tree, and I wanted more of my hand to move through it, and I was in the dream going, man, maybe I just believe in this tree too much. Like, I know I'm dreaming, this tree's not real, but I'm believing in it too much. So the next time that I lucid dreamed, I wanted to walk just through a table. And I remember just like trying to believe that the table was not really there, or that I was made of air and walking through it no problem. And that was one of those dreams where ever since then I just knew that I could, and I walked through. I don't use doors anymore. I just walk through walls, levitate through different floors if it's a multi-floor structure, or I just walk through things and fly everywhere now in my dreams since I had those few very validating experiences where I was like, oh, I know I can do this. Then it's just easy from then on.
Oh, so it was like about building up your belief that you could do it, even though it
Exactly.
looked, yeah, okay. That's so
I,
cool.
yeah, I had such a hard time flying at first when I was levitating, because I would levitate and then a little flicker of the doubt of what if I would fall would happen. And as soon as that would happen, I would plummet. And I used to have this weird, tingly, almost like shattering feeling, not exactly pain, but definitely uncomfortable feeling when I hit the ground that I did not want to repeat again. And that scarring, that tiny trauma, I had to learn to just let it go and not carry it with me, because every other dream after that, where I had that slight flicker, barely even formed the idea of what if I fall, then I would fall. And then one day I was like, I know what's going on. I know I can fly. And if if I just eliminate any of that negative connotation thinking, or or just remove the word fall from my vocabulary altogether, then I'm an unstoppable, unfallable force. And, and I've had to do that with all the skills in my dreams, but some have come to me easier than others. And I do a lot of the programming of my brain in real life to take to me into my lucid dreams. I don't have to just practice lucid dreaming in lucid dreams. I actually do a lot of the blueprints and the thinking things through in real life to practice for when I'm actually there. Because I only have so much time when I'm there, and I can't even count the amount of times that I've been in a lucid dream and be like, oh my god, I'm lucid. What do I do now? And I've got 5 different things that I've thought about in real life, and I'm like, man, I don't know which one to choose. And then I just waste the dream not being able to choose.
Wow. So you spend a lot of time in your waking life thinking about lucid dreaming.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
So tell me a little bit about like your process for, so what would you give me an example of what you'd think about during the day?
Okay. Well, It's really exciting because when you learn how to lucid dream, you really start to grasp the idea that if you think it, then it is possible. So throughout the day, from the moment that I wake up, I'm processing everything that I can see in real life. And in the back of my head, I have this alternate radio almost, or alternate television of how I would alter it or how I would do some sort of magic to it if this were a dream. So I wake up, I see the sky, I think about it being a different color. I've changed the sky to a different color in my dreams. I see some plants. I think about what they would look like if they just started growing and all, like plants on steroids, just growing wild out, flowers blooming from the hills. Uh, the color that I think of when I whistle. These are all things that I've actually done in my dreams lucidly because I've imagined what it would be like in real life.
Wow.
Um, I've thought about there's actually, when I interact with people in my dreams, I'm always trying to get some sort of reaction out of them. So if I ask them, I'll ask them for their favorite color, and then I'll pretend to be pulling something out of my mouth, and I'll pull out a rose of that color. Or I'll release butterflies of that color, and I'll try to make a magical experience, almost like Penn and Teller, very comforting to the person in my dreams. Although I'm completely aware it's me talking to myself, me reacting to myself, I still am in it for that some sort of like, I don't know, that companionship experience of being the magician and being the magic, even though I know that I'm the observer too.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something really amazing about that though. Like uh, I feel like people who go through like bouts of depression or suffer a lot from like anxiety and stuff like that. Like I suffer a lot from those kinds of things, and what you're describing is amazing. And if I could start doing those things in my dreams, you're literally just making yourself happier and more excited as a person. Like that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's
Uh,
beautiful.
I actually I get so excited to wake up and to share my dream experiences with my family that they actually brought up as a concern with how much fun I'm having in my dreams. They were like, "Don't you just wish that you could stay asleep and just dream and dream, and that you're gonna get sick and tired of us in this reality because your powers are not here; they're in your head." And
Mm.
I actually, I laughed at that, and I do sometimes have dreams that are so amazing that I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, I wish I could go back." And I sometimes do think, if only I could just plug myself into a machine that would give me a little extra time, like designated, and then I can do everything I want to do and come back. I would never learn anything new because again, it's just me and myself. And so when I'm in real waking life, I'm actually excited because there are components that are not me that surprise me that I do get surprised in my dreams, but I can only surprise myself as much as I already know because it's all the information I've gathered being processed back to me. And anything really, really different or really exciting or really new, like a perspective that I've never considered before or never been exposed to before, I can't get that unless I participate in waking life. And it keeps me curious about being alive and what I don't know and the things that I have yet to discover.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of insight that you have in yourself and about the world around you. Like that's a lot of insight. I feel like
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean I feel inspired right now. I want to like go to bed right now and try and lucid dream.
Oh, thank
That,
you. It's very flattering. I really appreciate the opportunity just to talk and share because I just get very excited to do this, talking to my family or to anyone who will listen, and to have someone who's interested in dreams as you are. I got super excited.
yeah, I know. Well, I could tell from your emails you sounded so excited, and that makes me so excited because obviously you have like all this crazy experience that you have just developed from your interest, which is that's I mean, that's just amazing. I love that. So you
Thank
said, yeah, of course. Oh my goodness. Thank you for
you.
for telling me all about it. So you said
No
that you
problem.
um
Anytime.
well, that's awesome.
I I'm almost daring myself to run out of stuff to talk about related to dreams. I don't think it's possible. So I'm actually going to try to run out of things to talk about.
Wow. I mean, have you ever thought about putting all of your dream information together in a book format or a
I
blog?
have, I have thought about it because I reflect a lot on my perspective and the process of teaching myself powers in lucid dreaming was really just a process of teaching myself to believe in myself and how to simply observe the way that thoughts work a lot of the times, and the ones that are negative often just seem to come out of nowhere, and I realized aren't mine, and I don't believe in them, so they don't really have any place within me, and they don't pay rent, so they don't belong here. The ones that the ones that resonate with me and the ones that make me feel a certain aliveness or feel a realness to them are the ones that belong here. So I house those and I feed those and I nurture those because they aren't just my lucid dream beliefs in myself, but my real life beliefs in my capabilities as well.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. You could write a book just on like how to have positive thoughts about yourself. That's
Via lucid
amazing.
dream.
Yeah, violence, and that's the thing too, right? It's
Like,
like, so you say that you have like a lot of blissful dreams, which sounds amazing. What's your thought about nightmares? Like, why do you think people have a lot of nightmares? Do you think it's because of those negative thoughts?
of of their anxieties in real life. Uh, I believe so. My experience with nightmares was I used to have two reoccurring ones. One I believe is very common, which is the one where you're trying to run away from someone who's chasing you, someone or something that's chasing you, and you're in slow motion or restricted or just can't run as fast as you want. I had that dream reoccurring when I was younger until one time in the dream I was experiencing the slowness and the frustration, and I gave up. I was like, this is stupid. And I remember turning. I was being chased by a witch, something wicked. And I remember giving up and turning around and opening my arms because I knew that the thing that was coming behind me was much faster and was coming at me very fast. And I just turned around and gave up and surrendered and opened my arms for an embrace and ended the dream hugging the witch. And I didn't have that nightmare again. I used to have this other nightmare that was more rattling to me, and it felt more personal to me, which is that I'm in my house, and again, there's another entity of wickedness. It's just the personification of evil is trying to get into my house, and I go to lock the door, and I go to shut the windows, and as soon as I turn my back on the door that I just locked, something has happened where it's opened or it's broken, and no matter how many times I run around the entire house from window to window, door to door, making sure that they're locked, it's either broken or someone's unlocking them in the house, and I can't get everything under control. And that dream I would have, and I would remember the feeling, I would get far enough of the feeling of the thing has made it inside the house, oh my God, what do we do? And I do have enough control of my dreams that I could make myself wake up as a failed escape. I could just make myself wake up if it got too bad. But the anxiety before I get to that point where it's so bad that I realize I can wake up is real. The anxiety up until the point where I realize that I have control up into the situation is the nightmare. And I remember as I was becoming more and more lucid, I started to recognize when I would have this dream because I would get there and I'd be like, oh my God, not this again. Okay, this is I need to deal. The front door is not gonna work. I'm gonna turn around. Someone's gonna unlock the window. I get it now. And in that dream that I was processing, that I had recognized the pattern and that I knew what was gonna happen. The bad guy was gonna get in the house. Uh, I started to reflect on what that could mean for me in real life, and I was like, well, it either means that I'm feeling vulnerable or like something is entering my life that I don't want, that I'm not prepared for, or that I feel like the security that I have is not really there. And the next time that I had the nightmare, I locked the doors with the belief that the doors are going to do their job. The doors are going to do what they were meant to do. The locks are going to work. because I knew they were, and the windows were going to stay shut because I couldn't explain why, but that I knew the windows were going to stay shut. And if for whatever reason the entity made its way inside the house, that I was prepared to meet it under any condition because I know I have something within me that can't be touched by its wickedness, that I'm prepared for it to meet. Because when it gets a load of this, I don't think it's going to come mess with this house before. And I couldn't tell you what experience gave me that because normally someone has to have an affirming experience that gives them that the belief in themselves. And I did the opposite one where I was like, I'm just going to have the belief in myself. And then that experience came afterwards, and I didn't have that nightmare anymore. And I haven't had any nightmares since, and I don't feel like the word nightmare exists in my vocabulary anymore. There were other dreams where there would be like bad guys, and when I was young, my tool to cope would be if I was in a crowd of vampires, I would pretend I was a vampire and blend in and cope. And that was just another silly thing that I remember doing when I was a kid to try and handle those nightmares. But the ones that I felt were more based in psychological roots, I spent a lot of time reflecting on in real life and brought that information to my dreams.
Wow. That's wow. That's all I can say really is just like the belief that you have and you really instill it in how you view your dreams, and I'm assuming your waking life too. Like it sounds like you have a very good hold on your own mental state, and when you had those nightmares you were so ready to be like, okay, this is what it is and how do I deal with it. You seemed very,
Right.
you're like very capable of doing that. That's amazing.
I think that the dreams offer a lot of room for introspection when I'm not just having fun, like making food appear or refilling drinks with my hands or making animals appear from nowhere for people, that they do offer a lot of room to learn about yourself.
Yeah, I think so too. And definitely since I've started on this like dream journey for myself, I've started really realizing a lot of dreams that I've had, such as reoccurring dreams or, the running. I've definitely had that dream before. And yeah, it's like about kind of embracing it and realizing what it is. And you might not know exactly what it means, but if you resolve it in the dream, you actually feel so much lighter and better in the waking world. Like it like lifts this burden off of your shoulders that you might not even be conscious of, but
Right.
because you dealt with it like in your unconscious state, it's not there anymore and it like relieves it. It's really cool.
I think I just remembered another nightmare I would have was the hallway in my grandmother's house. I was terrified to go down even a little bit because the bathroom was very close to my bedroom. I only had to go very short down the hallway, but it was so dark at night that I'd just be terrified of everything at the other end. As a kid, I'd have a very overactive imagination of monsters, the unknown, someone being there trying to do something to me, and I would just make that corner so fast, like NASCAR around the corner. NASCAR around the corner, 8 years old, and ever since then, I just had a fear of that hallway. And then I think maybe I'm about 11 or 12, and I have my first experience of just like really. There are elementary school dramas, but it was the first time that I felt like I had experienced ugly feeling that was not childish, but I felt like I had experienced like a mature weight that made me feel ugly. And I remember, and that just was weighing on my mind. And that night I had to I had to use the bathroom. And I remember being not scared because I felt so ugly. I'm gonna classify it as borderline evil. I felt like an evil presence. Like I just felt like emotionally nasty, and I was not afraid because I was walking down the hallway with the attitude of the things that I'm afraid of today better be afraid of me because what is inside of me is exactly what I imagine them to be like. Today, I'm my monster's monster. And even though I wouldn't keep that nasty mood with me, I just wasn't afraid of that hallway anymore after that because I felt like I had grown up a little and knew that there are no monsters down the hallway, but if they were, then there's a little bit of them in me, and that we can be the same, and that I am almost the vampire in the crowd of vampires, but not really. I'm just a vampire sympathizer that they have no reason to come bite me because I can understand them, and I'm not on their side, but I can sympathize with them enough for like why would they hurt me was like the childish conclusion if I'm part of them, and I don't like condemn them. I in my head from that perspective, I just think I understand you from the perspective of you're a monster. Hurt people hurt people. You're supposed to be scary. I get it. I felt bad things before. Wanted to hurt people before. I get it, but it's not my thing. I'll just let you coexist.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Which is, yeah, that's a really interesting like a interesting insight too, because we have this kind of dilemma about, good versus evil. And sometimes, like, as we get older, like you said, how you felt that kind of evilness inside of you through that emotion, and that actually overpowered the evil in your dream, so that you were the monster this time. And I just kind of wonder if, like, if we accepted our inner monsters, if we would overcome our dreams or our nightmares, like you're saying, like the things that we're really afraid of. Maybe it's something to do with, we're afraid of actually seeing the evil in ourselves because we want to be good, right? Like we want to be good people, and we know that
Right.
we're good people. But sometimes, like, the fear of knowing that, like, oh yeah, I could really hate that person, or I could hurt that person, it's scary to know that you could feel that way. And
Right.
then when you, like, acknowledge that, yes, I could hurt somebody, but I choose not to, that makes you good. And then that evil part of you, you can overcome it, and then you don't have to be afraid of it anymore.
Right.
And I think that's it's really cool.
Yeah, whenever I feel something intense, good or bad, I just classify it as a capacity, and not really for negativity or positivity, or whether it's anger or joy. If I see that I'm feeling something really intense, I can just neutralize it and be like, I have this amount of depth. I'm this alive. I'm this sensitive. And me labeling that experience as good or bad is an afterthought and is almost unnecessary. What matters most to me is that I'm alive and I have this capacity for whatever I choose to fill it with. Because I'm aware of it, I can change what it is.
Wow. And that's a lot of control too, right? Because there's a lot of people who, and me included, like I wouldn't be able to neutralize it as quickly as you seem to be able to. Like that's a
That you did,
muscle.
yeah,
That's like a skill that you've gained from, working it out. You've been working out that muscle.
yeah. You practice and then it gets stronger and easier.
Mhm.
I could have lifted these 10 pounds of emotional weight before, but now,
Yeah. Totally. You're totally ripped and jacked in your dreams. That's like
well, thank you very much.
that's so cool. I mean, through your lucid dreaming and those experiences, it sounds like you worked through those emotional torments, and
Right.
you've been able to actually get control over that. And
The
that's
the fear of the fear of being subjected to something outside of my control, or the fear of the locks not working, the fear of not being able to protect my family, or just not being able to be enough was something I had to confront, and was something that I felt the dream where nothing I did in the house was good enough to keep what's inside secure, uh, was the most enlightening obstacle to overcome psychologically, as far as what problems have my dreams been able to illuminate for me.
yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. And once you like overcame that obstacle, did your dreams become better or was it
So
less?
much more free because I'm lucid pretty much every single night, and it is my own little personal playground where if I have active lucid dreams, I feel like my imagination is very well worked, like it gets its workout, and I'm very happy because I get to not just think about things daydreaming wise, and conceptually, but experience them dreaming wise, and that is a very vivid form of playing with my brain. Like I'm just going on a play date with my imagination, real like
Yeah.
in a dream almost.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so creative. You literally have no limits inside your own mind. Like, it's
Yeah,
everything and more that you can possibly imagine, which is, I guess that's why being awake is actually good, like you said before, because you need other things in order for you to go back into your mindscape and then build on top of those things that you've seen that maybe
right.
you couldn't have imagined.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever, do you do a lot of traveling? Like, have you ever,
I wish I did more traveling. I don't right now, but I'm working now to save up to go traveling the world with my family in the future to see
yeah.
everything.
And do you think that once you go out into the world and actually see more of the world, do you think that's going to expand your lucid dreaming experience even more?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Movies do that already, and in anything that I see, any video that I see of other places and other cultures, anything that I experience that is new gets added onto my library, and especially if I find it interesting, it's easy to come up in my dreams. Like if I just saw a movie that I really liked, a superhero movie, definitely having those superhero powers in my dream that night, things
That's
that are
so
fun
cool.
that spark a reaction out of me that I can cling to very easily. I'll just watch a movie and I'm like, I'm downloading blueprints and I can't wait to use this in my dreams.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, you say downloading blueprints. So, is that kind of like, for how I'm understanding it, downloading like a computer downloads? Like you're downloading the.
I say that it's just a playful phrase for observing something to understand it, because to try and conjure something in your dreams, you're trying to make it from your thoughts. So in my dream logic or my real life logic, the more that I am able to understand something inside and out, its function, its the fabric of it, its form, I will have an easier time conjuring up that thing. And so I'm motivated to understand my reality so that I have a greater grasp of what's on the outside of me is on the inside of me.
Wow, that's so cool. Just like a reflection of life, but in your own mind. That's
Yeah.
so
As
cool.
like as above, so below, but like as outside of my eyes, as inside of my eyes, behind my eyes, inside my brain.
I love that. That's amazing. That's so cool. It's like everything that's reflected in the universe can also be reflected in yourself. Ooh,
To see infinity in a grain of sand, except I'm gazing at infinity and I'm the grain of sand, and I'm trying to put it all, trying to be like,
wow.
where is my identity really?
Wow, that's some intense stuff. I love it. Okay, so I have a couple of your questions also that I absolutely love. So I'm going to ask you this one. Do you ever
Okay.
think about what the future of dreams has to offer?
I do all the time. I can't wait to be able to record dreams. There's already some success with the technology where subjects were shown imagery and the brain reconstructed imagery was held side by side, and it was a very blurry mirage of the detailed picture that the subjects were shown, but it was very close.
Wow.
And the promise is that over time, the brain generated uh, computer television screen version of what you're being shown real time is only going to get more and more detailed. And so I hope that in the future we will literally be able to see what someone is dreaming while they're dreaming or record it like a movie. And so instead of telling your friend about your dream, you could be like, look at this dream movie that I recorded from last night that you can totally see from my POV, experience what I experienced, like way better than me telling it in story form. And I
Wow.
also, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Oh my goodness. I am
And,
so excited about that.
and this one's a little crazier that I don't have any studies yet that have inspired that because being able to record dreams was something that I thought of and then went to go see if anyone else was working on it, and I was surprised to see that there was someone working on the technology. A more inconceivable than that, I believe. I want to be able to share dreams from the perspective of someone could hook themselves up to like my brain, and we could both cognitively be experiencing the information that my lucidity is broadcasting, and that two people, two consciousness could share the same dream. I don't know, with someone being the host of it and being like, look at my dream world, and then when those two people wake up, that it's a shared mutual dream experience where my imagination is almost like a hotel, and people could come and experience what it's like to live in my imagination, and I could show them. In my dreams all the time, I'm showing dream people cool tricks and taking them on adventures and teaching them how to fly or free fall or how to make this appear or whatever. The only thing that would make that more meaningful to me is if I could share that with a person from real life and bring that experience back to someone in real life and be like, we were in that together. The magic was us. We were it. Didn't you see it? Don't you remember?
That's so amazing. I love that because people do have shared dreams now. Like there's lots of people who will wake up in the morning and that you'll call your mom, or usually it's somebody that you're close with, like your spouse, and you call them and you say, oh, I had this like crazy dream where we did this, and they're like, oh my goodness, I had the same dream as you. So we're already doing it. So there's definitely going to be some form of, I mean, if they're already mapping it and you can see it on a screen, we'll definitely
Yeah.
be able to hook up two brains. You could probably hook up like a whole bunch of people. It'd be like a network. And
Yeah, Elon Musk's Neuralink has already done incredible things, and I also saw this documentary where two people were hooked up to each other, and as one person, I think it was as one person just thought of raising their right arm, the other person's arm raised without them trying. I was
whoa.
actually, I think I have to confirm what the documentary is called, but it might be called I Am Human,
Oh
or
my goodness. Well, could you send that to me after we're done here? Send it
I
to
don't know.
me because I would love to see that.
It's a documentary that was based on how technology can help humans who have lost a lot of their abilities restore that ability, but also the future of like cyber enhancement.
Whoa. That's
Like
wild.
you will be able to technologically facilitate someone who's like lucky you and your lucid dreams, someone who wants to experience the kind of capabilities that I'm used to in my lucid dreams with me as a little play date. Like, hey, imagination time.
That's amazing. And it would be so easy too. Like you could even use it for play, but then you could use it for work, you could use it for rehabilitation. You could use
Yeah,
it for everything. Like you're like, "Oh, I really want to show you what I'm trying to tell you, but like I can't describe it." And then you just hook everybody up and then
yeah.
show them and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I totally get what you mean."
If I could have a superpower, it would be that of almost instantaneous empathy, where I could just make eye contact or look at someone and touch them, and then have a complete exchange of feelings without the words getting in the way of just knowing that. And I think that we might be able to actually experience that technologically wise,
Yeah.
technology wise.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, yeah, exactly. Not just dreams, but just like the empathy and the emotional connection that we have. Because words do get in the way a lot of the time. Like, it's very hard to describe something, or like
Right.
even what we're talking about right now. Like, it's really hard to even kind of imagine where that would go. unless you were an extremely creative person. But it's so exciting, and it's endless too, right? Like anything you can imagine, we're going to be able to create at some point, which is
That's
like,
the infinitely exciting part.
yeah, that's so cool. So, okay, what do you think the most powerful dream someone can have is?
I have all sorts of magical dreams where I get to experience moving the elements of like water, earth, air, fire, the flying, the getting to meet celebrities or breathing underwater and all that magical stuff. Uh, and it's all crazy. But on a much more lame note, I've had 3 dreams of this type, all lucid dreams where I'm in a place and I realize that I'm dreaming and I don't want to do anything but look at where I'm at and feel all of my senses and just be. I don't have an objective except to exist. It happened one time in my dream where I was walking down my old high school and the sun was coming through the trees and the wind was blowing the leaves off and the sunlight was beaming through them and I could feel the breeze and smell the grass. And it was very peaceful. I was the only one on campus and I was in the dream knowing that I could do anything that I wanted to in that moment, but I only wanted to just walk and breathe and look at the leaves fall. And I had another dream where I was in a library type hallway. Same thing happened where I just immediately realized I was dreaming, dropped down, I laid down, I put my head on the hard surface corner where the floor meet the wall, and I sat or I laid down and I put my head on the hard surface and I looked up at all the bulletin board. It smelled like library smell, like newspaper smell, and the surfaces I was on were hard, and I was looking at the bulletin board and I was just feeling my breathing. And the last one was that I wanted to go to the beach, or I flew to the beach because I wanted to see if the sand in my dreams was as good as the sand in real life. And I went up to it really close because I live in Hawaii, I'm so used to being up close to the sand and staring at it. And I was disappointed because the sand in my dream was only 2 colors, white and beige. And the sand in real life is many more colors. But in my dreams, I was like, this is exactly like sand, looks like sand, feels like sand, except man, only 2 colors? Really, brain? That's not the point. The point is that I was in the dream with my face in the sand, knowing it was a dream, not wanting to do anything but look at the colors and feel it, and look at the water and see if I could smell the salt, the little bit of salt, and feel the mist, and look at the way the water was bouncing off of the rocks. And all 3 of these dreams, I was in them, not wanting to do anything, even though I had the power to do anything. I just wanted to take in the moment and memorize every detail of it, almost like I was memorizing the face of someone that I care deeply for the last time. Because in my dreams, I know that if I leave this place, I might not come back to it again. If I come back to it again, it's not going to be this moment or this now. Every moment is extremely unique, and every now is its own. It's almost like its own being. So those dreams that I've had that are the most powerful to me are the ones where I've been completely still and have done nothing but be present with the presence of my environment as one, and not having any goals in mind or having any desires other than what it was that I was doing.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm mesmerized right now. That sounds so lovely. And that seems like that feels like something that, people could be doing in waking life.
I was gonna say, I forgot to add that those dreams were powerful because I woke up from them. I felt like the eyes that the me that I was using in those dreams to observe when I woke up, I wanted to be with every moment like I had been with those moments in my dreams. And I realized that that the eyes observing that scene, even though I'm not dreaming anymore, is the same me here. And my relationship with my environment in real life is no different than my dream relationships with things in my dream environment. It doesn't make sense that the person I am in life, in waking life and dreaming life, would change. And so much of my identity just comes from how I relate to things, no matter how simple or complex they are, how I relate to another human being, or how I relate to my bird or my chicken, my pet chicken, and how I relate to my front door, or all say something about me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your personality and who you are as a human being is like that's exactly it. How you like identify with the world and your dream world. That's really amazing. So you're when you get these blueprints when you're in your waking life, and then you have that still moment in your dreams. Is that a type of meditation for you? Is that a realization of anything in particular?
It is very much so like a meditation. Um, I was gonna say that being a lucid dreamer has made me more of a lucid liver, if that makes a lucid living being, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it has a lot to do with how you are digesting your environment and your perspective on your reality, but also your perspective on who you are in relationship to that reality. So, are you a non player character, or are you player one? And is your natural state more of one that is passive, waiting for instructions and externally motivated by other people or other factors and things? Or is your natural state more proactive and empathetic and in tune with your senses and what's going on right now? With a certain awareness and with a will to be as introspective as I possibly can. I've seen my lucid dreaming frequency grow, thinking about what's on the outside is on the inside, but my awareness in life grows because I carry that what's out here is on the inside too. And when I open my eyes or shut them, the feeling of I am my breath. I'm the grass that grows or the wind that hits me. It doesn't matter if it's dream wind or dream grass or dream breath. I couldn't tell the difference if I tried. I've been in dreams, taking deep breaths, been lucid, feeling things, touching them, being like, if someone were trying to fool me, could they fool me? Would I pass the test? I would fail every single time because every single time I've been in a lucid dream trying to see if it's as real as reality. It is as real as reality. So what's the point? What's the difference?
Wow.
And my secret to lucid dreaming almost every night isn't to just think about having a lucid dream or to be a lucid dreamer. It's just a oneness at all times with everything. And that mindfulness, which is not mindful, implies that your mind is full, but it's kind of like an emptiness and a readiness, not a mindfulness, but just a being virtually unoccupied and ready so that you can let things in.
Like
That
observing, you're observing everything.
Yeah, observing everything, being really neutral, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Uh,
does. Like not taking everything like personally or reacting very like emotionally either way. It's like a yeah, like a neutral observation of the world around you and
yeah,
taking in all that information as much as you can, taking in as much as you can.
and observing your thoughts, like who is shaping these, and where do they come from? What is my intent or their intent of the intent of these thoughts, and who's in control of that, and do I have anything to say about that? Where are we going and why, and all those things are up to question. Like I'm very suspicious of lucid dreaming is almost like playing a game where it's fun to forget that you're the architect, and so every time I'm in a dream and I figure out that I'm dreaming, I feel like I slipped one by myself again, and I almost lost the game, and I just caught it last second. I'm like, I see what you did there. I've realized, I've realized this 1,000 times, and I'll have to realize it 1,000 more, and that's the game.
That's wow. That makes it so much more fun too. Like super entertaining for yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's almost a little mind trickery. Like you were saying with like magic, you're like playing games with yourself. You're being the trickster to your own mind.
Yeah.
That's so fun. So, what do you think a person's particular kind of dream life says about who they are as a person? Because I know that you said that you are taking the negative thoughts and you decide that those aren't who you are. And then you have really blissful dreams and lucid dreams. Do you think those things have a relationship together? Like if you have more negative thoughts and you kind of feed into that, it'll end up having a very negative effect on your dreamscape?
I think so. During times of my life where I feel like times of my life where I've struggled more and have been more depressed and distracted, I don't really have any lucid dreams because I'm definitely not in the moment. Uh, and I know that I'm feeling more free in my life because my lucid dreams are more frequent and more free. Like my mind just literally has less weighing it down so that I'm more open to realizing what's available in the now because I don't have anything blocking myself from seeing that. Not just looking and seeing things, but looking to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I feel like if you're distracted by negative things, then they're taking up the space that you could use for positive programming, and that things are only as difficult as you decide them to be ultimately. When I realized that so much of my reality has to do with my thoughts, I felt like I had a particular control over things that I thought were outside of my control. And I started to get into the habit of saying that uh, just things are this way because that stupid reason that you really hate when your mom gives it to you where she's like, I said so because I said so. But I started using it myself in a positive way where I'm like, no, I am great because I said so. This is the way now. And this is the authority that I have on my thoughts of myself.
Wow, that's some serious, like, positive reinforcement that you have on your own mind. So, and like, you discovered that when you were in your lucid dreaming, like, you believe it, so it becomes true. And when you're in your waking life, you believe that you are well and you are good because I said so. Is that something that you learned in your dreams and then you were able to make it a
That
reality?
just because I'm thinking of a cheetah walking through the front door right now and it's not happening doesn't mean that my thoughts don't have power in this reality because they do. Maybe not with actually rearranging physical atoms, but the whole mental journey is all composed of thoughts and can be just as easily rearranged with thoughts. And it's not just saying something and then not believing it, but actually feeling like you have the like you are the painter and the canvas and not just the canvas being subjected to this otherworldly painter that's out of your control and you have no say so. To actually believe that you're the painter and the canvas gives you all the control, the infinite power to create yourself into whoever you want to be. It's just as easy as believing that this this quality isn't real. Like that tree that I was trying to move my hand through and I couldn't because I believed in it too much. I couldn't eliminate any negative quality in me that I actually believed was set in stone. I just have to believe that it's as silly as a bad decision that I made, and I'm more aware now, so I don't have to make that decision anymore.
Wow, I'm speechless. That is some amazing positive affirmations. Like, if everyone thought the way that you think in this like positive reinforcement of yourself that I have control over my own mind and if I decide how I want to feel about a situation, even if the situation is completely out of your control, you get to decide how you feel about it. Nobody else can tell you that.
Right.
It's like if you remember, it's like we've forgotten. We've forgotten how to take control of our own emotions. And if we remember to do that, it's wow, what a positive life we would have.
Super optimistic, but not optimistic unrealistically. I hope. Just
No.
like,
No, I don't
uh,
think so. No, I don't think that it is unrealistic. I think it's, again, just strengthening that muscle, remembering. You
yeah.
have to keep telling yourself, reinforcing the positivity.
I used to have such a hard time when I was learning how to fly that wingspan. And when I was on the ground and I wanted to fly and I only knew my wings, I would feel like I was heavy and I'd have to work really hard just to get up. And one time I was sick and tired of feeling like a really fat person, just like not able to get myself in the air. That I actually imagined instead of the wings being as far as my hands, I imagined the wingspan being 20 feet past my hand in either direction. And instead of doing 100 little flaps to try and get myself up there, I simply imagined my wingspan was further than it was, and in two great big swoops, got myself higher in the air than I ever could have gotten, just believing it as far as my hands could see.
Mm-hmm.
It was that I thought about the wingspan being 20 feet out, and when I moved my arm, I actually felt a sensation 20 feet out catching air in my dreams that taught me that my power was just as far as I could conceive or imagine it to be.
Wow. I keep saying wow, but I don't know what else to say.
No, that's awesome. That's great. It's so fun to actually inspire someone with all these little silly dream stories that I like to tell.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I am really inspired, and I actually feel so much more positive just from talking to you and how positive your dreams have been for you and how they affect your waking life because sometimes we drag ourselves out of bed and we feel really crappy like right at the beginning of the day, and it's like, oh, it would be so great if we just were excited to go to sleep, have a positive dream, and then maybe we would wake up with that positive feeling and like
Yeah.
continue it out through our day. Like that would be so awesome if we could do that.
I experience things in my dreams where I make the gardens grow. I control the ocean waves. I've stopped the tsunami wave in my dream, and I used to try to put all my force in my hands and try to stop it, but I've never stopped the entire wave. It's massive. It's like the whole beach. I can only stop the range that's in front of me, and I can see on either side where I was not able to control the wave. And my life has been a journey of I want right now, excuse me, right now I'm at a point of my life where I can't stop the wave, but all my force is going up. All the strain is in my hands. I'm trying to stop the wave. It's just enough to get everyone around me safe, but I can't save the whole beach. I thought about in real life what it would be like to not put the strain in my hands, but just to lift both my hands, no strain, and what it'd be like to raise one hand, what it would be like to not raise any hands, to just think, and what it would be like to see the wave coming and turn around and know that the whole beach is saved and that I didn't even have to strain at all. And so although I feel really comfortable in my dreams now as far as what I can do, I still can't stop the whole tsunami just by knowing that it's not coming and turning around. I've still had dreams where I've played around actually just recently. I've been like, maybe I'll do two hands, maybe I won't strain so much, maybe I'll just try harder, maybe try less hard. And I can't stop the whole wave as of now, but I know that it's not that the journey to being able to stop the whole wave is not a path that I have to take. It's a pathless journey that the answer's almost right here, right now. I don't have to go anywhere to find it. I just have to know it. I just have to understand it more.
Hmm.
And then,
It'll suddenly make itself known to you.
like wisdom, it's just gonna hit me very suddenly. Bam. Ah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like exactly like that. It's one of those funny things that you don't know how to explain, but when you're trying to figure out the answer to something and then one day you have that aha moment, it's like that opening of wisdom and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I get it. I know what to do now."
I went on a small tangent, but what I was saying is that when you're in your dreams and you're making the flowers bloom and stopping ocean waves and making fires and lights and falling and stuff. When I wake up, I carry that feeling with me of I am all of these sensations. And when I'm walking around in my waking life, I don't cease being that sense of adventure. I carry that magic of the imagination with me. Like I am the same person in the two worlds are the same. That experience was just as vivid to me there as it is here. So it's just a memory like I'm not gonna tell someone that it's a legit memory that I had, like I experienced this, but between me and myself, my dream life and my waking life are the same, have the same intimacy of sensation. They're the same to me.
I feel the same. There's many dreams that I've actually had that I thought were real. Like I thought that I actually had those experiences, and to me I did. But if I'm talking to someone and I tell them like, "Oh, do you remember that time we did this?" And they're like, "That didn't happen." And I was like, "Oh, I dreamt about it, so it's a memory to me, but it's not a memory to them." So
Yeah.
all the dream memories that you have and all the real life memories that you have, I feel like they are one and the same because you're still experiencing them. It's just not awake. It's just asleep. So it's really cool.
On a tangent, I had gotten rid of, I'd been really attached to a certain stuffed animal that I had had. And then I think I went through a small phase where I was like, growing up, I'm too good for stuffed animals, got rid of it, and really regretted that decision and used my dreams to imagine my stuffed animal being in the other room. I walked to the other room and it was Winnie the Pooh style where it was like my bear on 2 feet, bipedal, able to walk over to me and give me a hug, and I apologized. I was like, I'm so sorry, man. I should have never got rid of you. That was my bad. It's my fault. You're always my friend. And I got to unleash that regret that I had getting rid of him to him in the dream. And I know that that is not a legitimate experience whatsoever in your life, but it helped me feel better. I carried that therapy into real life.
Yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, that like feeling of letting go, or if you have that regret, it's like it festers and it kind of weighs on your mind. So in the dream world, you're able to say goodbye properly to an inanimate object. Like they don't know what's going on, but you're so like attached to that. And I totally feel that. Like there's so many stuffed animals that I have like gotten rid of or given to the thrift store, and I'm sad. Like I literally get sad about it, and then they'll be in my dreams just in the background or whatever, and it makes me feel better because they're still there, and
Yeah.
it's really cool.
I wanted to ask you what kind of nightmares and dreams that you have. Am I allowed to reverse it and ask you questions?
Sure. Sure
No.
thing. Yeah. um
What's your experience with dreams?
Well, my experiences with dreams and what really got me like into dream experiences and learning more about dreams is I had a couple of dreams where I dreamt about people that I knew dying, passing on, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
wake up the next morning and my mom would call me and she would tell me that so and so passed away, and I was like, yeah, I already know. I dreamt about it last night. And I've just never been able to understand that, or what does that mean, or does
Wow.
it? Sorry.
I just said wow.
Yeah,
Like that is real.
yeah, I know. It's kind of a very surreal experience, and being visited from. I had a friend who was my best friend in high school. His name was Tyler, and he died very suddenly. He had lung complications and he just passed away really suddenly, and nobody was expecting it. And after his mom called me and told me that he had passed away, he has visited me almost every day in my dreams. Yeah, since he's passed away. And he came over and we were like hanging out in my dream, and I was like, you're dead. And he was like, yeah, I'm dead, but I'm here. And we were just hanging out, like we were just hanging out like we regularly would. And it was so bizarre. And Yeah, it just blows my mind. And I've had a couple lucid dream experiences like you, not obviously as elaborate, but definitely some lucid dream experiences. And I want to practice more lucid dreaming because I think that it would be super beneficial for my mental health. And it's just fun. It's just really
What
fun.
kinds of things would you try?
What kind of things?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, I don't know. Well, right now I'm actually trying to practice talking to my inner self because I know that there's a lot of yeah, I know, right? I'm trying to I'm trying to talk to my inner self because I know that I have a lot of unresolved issues that I'm going through. And I honestly just want to wake up in my dream and just be like, "Hey, what can I do to help?" Like I really just want to help myself. So that's what I'm working on right now. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of nuts, but it's fun.
I've I've thought about asking my dream self things, and the one time that I got to try, I just did to show me something beautiful, but it was at the I got really excited. I was like, "Oh my God!" And I asked, and I think I got so excited, or it was the very end of the dream. I'd woken myself up, but when I had heard, I like to think or ask other people about things that they've done in their lucid dreams of new things that I can try, and there are a lot of things that inspire me about other people's lucid dreaming abilities, like when they're able to ask questions and get answers, or ask questions and the environment will change, or some form of music or art is made, or an actual word is revealed, or anyone who says that they got creative inspiration from, like, this song came to me in a dream. I'm like, that's so cool. I want to ask my dream to play music for me so that I can see if I can come up with a Sammy original, a
Yeah.
Sammy original.
Yeah.
Like falling, I heard if you fall back, if you just fall backwards, you'll end up in a different place. And I've been in a grocery store in my dreams. I've just seen a lady, and I would pretend I was like, hey, I can put my foot behind my head, and I pretend to lose balance, and I fell through the floor on purpose to like go up behind, fly up behind her, and tap her on the shoulder and surprise her. But I've never just trust falled and thought about ending up in a different place. But
That's really cool. I wonder if you fall backwards in your dream if you would end up in like a upside down reality.
oh my God, I want to do that. Oh, I've spent so much time upside down thinking about walking on the ceiling that I've got the blueprints already. I know I've got the blueprints.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, when you have that dream, you tell me about it because I want to know. That sounds so cool.
I've heard of other people tasting fire, or someone recently on Reddit was like, "Has anyone ever tried going to the movie theater in their dreams and like theater hopping, going to see the movies they're on?" I was like, that's a great idea. Uh, Anything that has to do with manipulating time, slowing it down, or making it fast, or stopping it, pausing it, I want to try. I haven't done any of those. Someone was like, "You can read minds," and I was like, "What would the feeling of reading minds even be like?" And I want to try that.
Oh,
Or just
so wouldn't it be like if you're reading your mind in your dream, would that just be reading your own mind?
mind. That's what I have to find out, because if the thoughts are of any significance, I want to see what the thoughts mean to me. Like if I read some Gene person's mind and it's something basic, or if it's something actually like actually deep. I want to figure out what that's like. Just turning on the television and seeing what's on. I like to look at what I'm wearing sometimes just to see. I'm like, how did I dream dress myself today? Sometimes it'll be
Ah.
things I don't even, sometimes it's things I don't own anymore. I've donated, like things I've worn that I've donated already. I'm like, oh, you've got this whole thing on. uh,
That's
those,
awesome.
those are all things that I haven't done that I want to try to do. I think recently I figured out that you don't have to stretch to be flexible, because I was just doing splits and stuff. I want to in real life, but in the dream I was like, oh hey, look, doing splits for everyone, and
Oh, that's so fun.
I want to figure out what it's like to lose form, or just have the wind blow and me turn into air, or not feel this physical body. But I also want to know what it's like to feel other animal bodies, like be one of those monkeys that can fly tree, so like can just fly tree to tree, or a dolphin,
Ooh.
or a butterfly. Any animal that's not bipedal. Um,
That would be so cool. I'd love to try being an animal, especially like something that's either really fast or can like swim really
yeah.
quickly. That would be cool.
I thought about being like Alice in Wonderland, being really, 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 really tiny, or
Oh,
really, really, really big.
I love Alice in Wonderland. That would be so cool. Yeah, being like shrinking down really tiny and then walking through like underneath mushrooms or like, doing
Yeah.
whatever. It'd be so cool.
And the couple of times that I've actually had dream conversations haven't been super exciting because they weren't really conversations. One time I had a dream and I was standing in the grocery store in the dream and a friend was behind me in line and I turned around and I in the dream was like, you wouldn't even understand who I am if I told you, and they were confused and I couldn't see myself, but I remember shutting my eyes briefly and thinking about them becoming another color, and when I opened them the reaction from the dream person was of shock, and I knew that I had changed them to a different color to show them that I was this dream person, and I remember shocking them like that. But another time I've had lucid dreams where I'm in a store in the dessert section, just in a dessert shop, and I'm
Oh.
lucid. Oh, so even if I could make the ice cream healthy, my physical capacity for ice cream in a balanced sense is nowhere near my spiritual capacity for ice cream eating. So I was in the dream eating everything, and the two security guards are coming at me in the dream, and I wasn't ready to stop. So I hit him with the existential crisis. I was like, "You guys know this is a dream, right? You're just dream people." And the two security guards stopped, and I had more time to eat ice cream before they were like, "What?" And
Oh.
I had cookies. Yes, please. More, more.
Oh wow. You just like totally blew their minds. Just what?
But I'd like to have an actual dream conversation with a person of depth and try to see what I can uncover.
Hmm.
I used I don't see. I used to live with my little sister. Now she's not. Now she's in another state. I don't get to see her anymore, but I miss her. Dream about her when I miss her. I dream about her more when I miss her, like more. And I used to always have dreams when things were not too good at home of her and me being in a dream and me teaching her. I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You gotta move your arms like this. We're gonna fly to the sun and we're never turning back. Just you gotta move your arms like this and just keep going and never turn back. And I remember having those kinds of dreams where she's with me and I'm like, pack your stuff. This is a car. This car's gonna take you wherever you want. You just gotta ask it nicely. And I actually have a relationship with all the inanimate objects in my dreams where they will do anything you want and just have to ask them nicely. Like my phone in my dreams I've used, like you just call it and it zooms through the air and it like hits me in the face and it's almost like electricity. I've used it to take pictures, but the pictures don't stay. If I take certain pictures in one dream, you can't see them in the next dream. And if you want to revisit them in that same dream, they're not the pictures you took. They're different. Uh,
Oh.
they're like looking at the time in your dreams is never the same. It's not logical. So if you took a picture of something in a dream and you want to revisit it, it's not the same exact picture. It's almost. It's a rendition. It's a remix. You'll never get the original back.
Wow, that's really trippy.
cars I'll get a car and just ask for it to take me places, but or like before I could fly really well I would take a brick and ask the brick to take me in the air and it would fly, but it would be very checkers like and it would move very like 10 feet this way, 10 feet that way. That was how you had to give the direction. And nothing in my dreams will work, nothing inanimate will work or do anything for you if you don't ask politely, because I have this real life fear that if you disrespect someone that they're not going to want to be of service to you. So in my dreams it's impossible for me to be impolite. I just can't interact with things impolitely in my dreams because it won't it's not what's it called, it's just not symbiotic, and I can't fly that way. So even if I'm talking to a pen in my dreams, I'm like, can you please go fly 10 feet over there, and it'll zoom. Anything that I ask will do anything as long as I say please,
Wow.
which is an example of something in my actual real life consciousness interfering with my dream abilities.
Well, I think that's a really nice thing, though. I mean, saying
Oh my god.
your please and thank yous, that's a wonderful thing. Like, I definitely would, if I'm ever gonna ask an
Yeah.
inanimate an inanimate object to do anything for me in my dreams, I probably would say please and thank you as well.
Yeah. Um, one thing that was said, I dream of work all the time, and I'll be dreaming of doing a shift in the kitchen, and then wake up and have to start a shift in the kitchen, going, "What do you mean I didn't just serve all those soups? Now I have to wake up and serve soups?" I'm just kidding. But one lady in my dreams, I was working in the kitchen, and she came over and she was like, "Oh, I see that you too have a passion for excellence and beauty." And then I woke up going, "What the heck did she mean by that?" Did I just give myself a compliment? And am I a narcissist? No, I read into it. I was trying to read into it, like, what is that I feel like I'm doing a good job? Is that my way of telling myself that I'm doing a great job? It was the way she said it that got to me. She said it
Hmm.
like she really believed that I have a passion for excellence. With
Wow.
my
Well, that's really nice.
I don't feel that way right now, but she must know something I don't know.
That's another one of your positive affirmations, being like, "Hey, you're doing really awesome."
Yeah.
That's super nice. All right. Well, I think we only have time for one more question.
Okay.
And this is the final question. We can definitely reconnect after this, though, because I still would love to hear more about your dreams and like chat about dreams and stuff.
Yeah, I'm
But
into
just,
your college jeopardy, hoping that I'll be re-invited back.
yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. This has been such an awesome episode. I'm really excited about it. And I'm
Thank you so
sure,
much. I only
yeah.
got through like half of my notes.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll definitely have to do a part two then. This is
Awesome. Okay,
part one.
thank you
We'll
so
have,
much.
yeah. Okay. So, final question for today. How do you feel about aliens and the paranormal?
Okay. I don't believe in the traditional sense of the paranormal, but I do believe in aliens and like other life out there. And I feel like although I to anyone who asks that is skeptical, I'm also skeptical, but I'm too in the middle to give a definitive no or yes about anything other than I can agree that there are things that I don't understand, and I'm not willing to say that paranormal activity and aliens uh, don't. I'm just not willing to say that it's silly to believe that they exist. But I couldn't say that I'm so much of a believer that I would advocate for it. I'm just like I'm here observing, ready to see what I'm ready to see. I'm not gonna deny anything. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a very fair way of looking at it for sure. I think I'm the same level as you because I've I'd never had a paranormal experience or an alien experience. I've never had any of those. But I wouldn't say that they don't exist cuz I just don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've never had an alien or paranormal experience in your life.
No, no, not. I've had strange experiences that are either the only strange experiences that I've had in my life have to do with more of like a deja vu, like I feel like I've been here before kind of thing, and not a abnormal other entity kind of feeling. But
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to saying that they exist. I'm gonna keep a very open mind about it.
Nice. That's fantastic. I feel the same way. Yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you for sure. And okay, so I just want to ask one more question. Your deja vu experiences, do they have anything to do with your dreams or is that unrelated?
I think about that all the time, especially when my deja vus happen around my house, because I'll be doing something average, like I'll be picking up my clothes off the floor, and I'll have the, "Oh my God, I've been here before," and I am like, "You idiot, you have been here before. You pick up your clothes off the floor every single day," and I'm like, "No, no, no, this is different. This was like something resonated within me, and it was just different. I know I've picked up my clothes off this floor a million times, but this time what I felt, I've been here before, was different. It was almost not related to what I was feeling on the outside, but just the recognition of something on the inside where I was like, this is familiar and inexplicable. If someone had to question me on what it is that I'm saying when I said I've been here before, it's almost like a state of consciousness I've been here before. Not necessarily I'm picking my clothes up off the ground, been here before.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you mean. I've had lots of really intense deja vu experiences where I actually know that I definitely haven't done that specific thing before. And then also with the whole picking your clothes off the floor kind of thing, like brushing my teeth or whatever, like super mundane stuff. And yeah, I have deja vu all the time. Is it very like frequent for you? Do you have deja vu a lot?
It's no, I don't get it a lot, but I have been getting it more frequently. I don't know if it has anything to do with lucid dreams, um, but wouldn't it be really cool to get deja vu inside of a dream?
Ooh. That's like Inception, Dreamception.
Yeah, I've dreamt this before,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's next level.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about what the new frontier of dreams is experience wise, and always looking at it from the perspective of those experiences are just as valid as the ones that I can corroborate with other people in real life. Um, and the ones between me and myself in my dreams are almost like inside jokes or little secrets or like a clubhouse uh, of no rules where I can, if I can think it, I can make it. So I become the rainbows, I become the shining lights or the waterfalls or the glitter and all the things. I become those things because I have to understand them to a certain extent to make them appear, and then my identity with this body kind of ceases to be as strong when I identify with all those with the magic of my imagination.
Wow, that's so cool. I can't wait to go to bed tonight.
Oh my god.
I'm really excited to take a nap and try and get my lucid dream um, skills up to your par. Okay. Oh, so do you have any advice for new lucid dreamers? What would be some advice so that people can start lucid dreaming?
Okay. Um, my advice to new lucid dreamers, I would say, is that it's not becoming a lucid dreamer isn't like an activity that you do like a chore. It's more of an actual permanent alteration within yourself of your perspective if you want to be really good at it, because by chance you could become lucid, but that makes it an every now and then thing. If you want to really become a lucid dreamer, I think it definitely starts with being aware of your presence and having an open perspective about your environment. If your mind is preoccupied with your homework or the chores or the bad day that you have or what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, and you're bombarded with all these things that aren't really existing right now, then when you're presented information in your dreams that all has to do with that kind of information, you're never going to be able to see through it to see that you're dreaming or you're living. So I guess it's not very concise advice, but to begin lucid dreaming, start to pay attention to how full your mind can be all the time, and then practice emptying it in a way where you're just filling it with the details of your environment. And anyone aware of themselves and their environment is almost doing like a reality check just with their being, and just having that openness and readiness to be one with your environment. Something about that tells you whether you're in reality or not.
Mm-hmm.
I I just use trying to become present in every moment as my reality check, and the more that you do it, the more likely you are able to catch yourself at a time where you are in a dream.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's like a full time hobby.
Yeah,
It's like a job almost, but not in a not in the sense of a job like you're working. It's really just enriching your life, if
yeah.
anything.
I guess the best advice to shorten it would be that if you want to be a really good lucid dreamer, then you're going to have to start becoming a very good lucid liver, a lucid lifer, a lucid. living being,
Yeah, that sounds
being,
so good. I love that.
being lucid in your dreams starts with being aware at all times because your
Wow.
consciousness is your consciousness. So becoming best friends with it is your best hope, I feel.
Wow. That's so cool. Well, I am definitely going to take that advice and I'm going to go start living right
Yeah,
now.
living and dreaming. I'm
Yeah,
gonna live whether I'm asleep or not.
exactly. I'm going to be lucid. I'm going to be here and I'm ready to observe my surroundings. It makes it so much more exciting. It's almost like your whole life is a game at that point.
Exactly, exactly. I'm always playing the game. I'm always player one, and not some random computer generated entity following a list of programming, a bulleted list of eat, breathe, sleep, repeat. I'm actually the you become your own architect of your own story, and I feel like your identity comes with what you do with that power, that freedom, and your identity isn't so much so decided by the factors that are outside of your control, like your genes or what you look like or where you come from, but more with ultimate freedom and imagination to create whatever it is. What do you do with all that power then? What do you make? What art or poetry or memorable experiences can you create when it's just you and yourself?
That is
And
so. Oh,
yeah. And you're not trying to impress anyone or worrying about what someone thinks. It's just like what I do for myself is zero bull crap. It's all genuine. It's like why would I even waste time? It doesn't make any sense. So the most genuine acts are of those where no one's watching. But I don't have to have no one watching to produce genuine acts. It becomes a way of living, like a lifestyle.
right. Yeah, exactly. A lifestyle. You adopt that lifestyle. It sounds so much more fulfilling, just in
Yeah,
general.
people who are trying to lucid dream, like, oh, I've set alarms and I've tried to think about it for a couple of nights and it's not working. I feel like they're expecting so much with not the right kind of effort put into it, and that it's not like a it's not like a diet change where you only do this for so long, but like a lifestyle change where you're learning about your mind, like one would have to learn about their body, and then becoming more and more in tune with that is your key to success.
Wow. Excellent. Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
So much fun.
Oh, yes, it has been. I have had an amazing time with you. So thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview.
Of course, I would do it again and again as many times as you would have me back.
That's so great. Now, is there anything you'd like to plug for yourself? Like, do you have a website? Do you have like an email in case people want to email you questions or anything like that? If not, people can just contact me if they want to get to you. What kind of things would you like to promote for yourself?
I don't have anything to promote for myself other than, I guess, the message to be here now, to be say hello to yourself in the now, and I hope that everybody who's listening, when they see themselves in the mirror, they see someone that they can be best friends with.
That is that is the best promotion I will ever get on this podcast. That is literally like you know what? I'm going to have to just end the podcast now because that's it. It's done. It's over. That's
What better
amazing.
note can we end it than this one? Okay, go on.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sam. This has been extremely enlightening and it's been wonderful to meet you. And we'll definitely have more conversations.
I'm just gonna be doing nothing but taking more notes and reflecting and dreaming more, so I'll have nothing but more things to talk
That's fantastic. Well, how about the next time you come on, you can get to more of your notes that
about.
we didn't get to this time.
Right.
That'd be
I can't.
fantastic.
This is so exciting. This feels like when you get a school project you actually care about, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna do everything I possibly can.
Yes, it's like 100% A plus plus, like fantastic marks.
This is not an assignment. This is passion.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. The fiery passion. I love that. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. It has been
Thank you.
really awesome talking to you. Oh, wow. I just opened the screen and I'm really dark. I'm sorry. You could.
I've been watching progressively get later and later for you as you sacrificed your time just to listen to me, and I'm so grateful.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
if I wasn't motivated before to go and come up with new, exciting lucid dream experiences or just new, exciting frontiers to the dreamscape experience, then I'm definitely excited now because I know that I'm not just going to be doing it for myself and my family, who may or may not be reluctant to hear me talking about it all the time, but you'll be just as excited. I know that, and that's twice the motivation to do something cool, noteworthy, and memorable.
Yes, that's amazing. No, I'm so excited to hear more about where you go with your dreaming, and I'll definitely keep checking in with you periodically, and we can just have a conversation, like, maybe not tonight obviously because I got to get doing things, but later on in the week, you just message me and we'll talk. I'm ready. I'm down.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Like I said, this has been the highlight. This has been the thing that's excited me the most today. I woke up, not verbatim, but woke up basically telling my dad that today I was going to be a star, and I was so excited because it's
Ah!
not. I love nothing. I love nothing but nothing more than talking about the things I love, and I love dreaming so much that even if this podcast, you would say this is my personal podcast that I listen to me and myself, I still feel like a star because of all the excitement of sharing my passion with someone who's just as passionate. This has been amazing.
Ah, that's awesome. Well, you definitely are a star today, for sure. Star of the podcast.
Your podcast.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Samantha. Have an awesome day.
You too, Emily. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Good night.